A single percentage point, just one small digit, can secretly steal 10 years, an entire decade from your retirement. It's a hidden truth, a quiet erosion that most people never see. Yet, it's strategically woven into the fabric of our financial system, designed to benefit institutions at your expense. This isn't about grand market crashes or reckless gambles. It's far more insidious. It's about the microscopic adjustments, the barely perceptible differences that, over decades, snowball into an avalanche of lost opportunity. Imagine working tirelessly for 40 years, making all the right moves, only to find you have to keep working for 10 more, all because of something you thought was insignificant. That's the real cost of this 1% difference. Most people believe their money is working hard for them. They put it in an investment fund, a savings account, maybe a retirement plan, and they assume the numbers they see are the whole story. But behind those comforting percentages, there's a quiet war happening, a battle for fractions of a percent. And those fractions determine whether you retire at 65 or 75, whether you have freedom or financial stress, whether you leave a legacy or just barely get by. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah started saving for retirement at 25, diligently setting aside $500 every month. She chose a diversified mutual fund, something recommended by her bank, and felt secure. The fund advertised a very respectable 7% average annual return, which seemed great. She was consistent, never missed a payment, and watched her balance grow over the years, feeling good about her financial future. But what Sarah didn't see, what wasn't explicitly highlighted, was the fund's expense ratio, a modest, seemingly harmless 1%. Now, 1% sounds tiny, almost negligible, right? What's $1 out of 100? But this 1% isn't a one-time fee. It's an annual charge, a constant siphon pulling directly from your investment returns, year after year, before you ever see a penny of profit. It's the difference between your money actually growing at 7% and effectively growing at 6%. And when we talk about investing, especially for retirement, the difference between 7% and 6% isn't just one percentage point. It's the difference between two entirely different financial realities. Consider that hypothetical 7% average return. Over 40 years, Sarah's consistent $500 monthly contributions, totaling $240,000 of her hard-earned money, would theoretically blossom into around $1.3 million, a comfortable retirement indeed. But remember that silent 1% fee? That seemingly minor deduction changes everything. Instead of $1.3 million, her account, growing at an effective 6%, would only reach about $930,000. That's nearly $400,000 gone, vanished. Not lost in a market downturn, but quietly extracted by fees. Can you even begin to comprehend the difference that $400,000 makes to someone's retirement? This isn't just about the fees on investment funds. This 1% difference manifests in multiple ways, all designed to subtly redirect wealth from your pocket into the coffers of financial institutions. It's why the system is designed to be so complex, so full of jargon and fine print. They count on you being too busy, too trusting, or too overwhelmed to scrutinize these small numbers. Think about the interest rates offered on your savings accounts. The banks are practically begging you to deposit your money, offering rates that hover around 0.01% to 0.1%. They tell you it's safe, secure, and liquid. But what are they doing with that money? They're lending it out for mortgages, car loans, business loans, and credit cards at rates often 10, 20, or even 100 times higher. That difference, that vast chasm between what they pay you and what they charge others, is where they make their colossal profits. And the tiny fraction of a percent they give you? That's a powerful psychological tool to make you feel like your money is doing something, when in reality, it's just idle capital for them. This brings us to a crucial yet often overlooked attacker of your wealth: inflation. While not a direct fee, inflation acts as a silent, invisible tax, eroding the purchasing power of your money year after year. Historically, a conservative estimate for inflation is around 2 to 3% annually. If your money is sitting in a savings account earning 0.1%, it's not just failing to grow, it's actively shrinking in real terms. You're losing 2 to 3% of its value every single year. That's a negative 2 to 3% return. This is why the wealthy, the truly financially savvy, never leave substantial amounts of cash sitting in savings accounts. They understand that every moment their money isn't working hard enough to beat inflation, they are losing. They are experiencing that 1% or more difference, costing them their future purchasing power. So, how does this 1% difference, whether it's fees, inflation, or missed opportunity, translate into a decade of lost retirement? It all comes down to the relentless power of compound interest, which Albert Einstein famously called the eighth wonder of the world. Compound interest works both for you and against you. When your investments grow at 7%, your earnings also earn returns. But when 1% is siphoned off, you're not just losing that 1% this year, you're losing the future returns that 1% would have generated year after year for decades. Let's go back to Sarah with her $400,000 shortfall. To make up that $400,000, assuming she's still investing and earning at her original 7% minus that persistent 1% fee, she would either need to invest significantly more money each month or she would need to keep working. To claw back $400,000 just from market returns alone after 40 years of saving, she would realistically need to continue working and investing for an additional 10 years. 10 years of getting up early, 10 years of commuting, 10 years of living by someone else's schedule. That's a decade of her golden years, stolen by a single insidious percentage point. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario for Sarah. This is the reality for millions of people. They follow the rules, they save diligently, but they are unknowingly bleeding capital through these small, overlooked percentages. And the financial institutions, they thrive on it. Imagine millions of Sarahs, each paying a seemingly small 1% fee. That small percentage, multiplied by trillions of dollars under management, translates into billions in revenue for these firms. It's their business model, perfected over decades, to extract maximum value from your capital without you ever feeling the direct impact until it's too late. The complexity of investment products, the endless array of choices, the technical jargon, it all serves a purpose. It's a smokescreen designed to make you feel like you need an expert, which then justifies more fees. They present you with elaborate prospectuses and dense legal documents, knowing full well that very few people will ever read or truly understand them. And buried within these documents are those critical numbers: expense ratios, administrative fees, advisory fees, trading costs, and 12b-1 fees. Each one a tiny tributary, collectively forming a river that drains your wealth. What about those financial advisors who charge a 1% assets under management fee? They position themselves as your trusted guide, helping you navigate the treacherous financial landscape. But when you understand the devastating impact of that 1% on your long-term wealth, you begin to question their incentives. Are they truly working solely for your benefit? Or is their advice subtly steered towards keeping your assets under their management, generating their annual 1% regardless of performance? It's a fundamental conflict of interest that most people are never taught to recognize. The wealthy understand this deeply. They don't fall for the allure of set-it-and-forget-it investments with hidden fees. They seek out low-cost index funds, direct investments, or tax-efficient strategies that minimize these parasitic percentages. They view every fraction of a percent as precious capital to be preserved and grown, not sacrificed to intermediaries. This isn't just about being frugal. It's about understanding the mechanics of compounding and protecting your financial runway. Consider the compounding effect in reverse. If you save an extra 1% of your income, or if you manage to reduce your investment fees by 1%, that 1% isn't just a tiny bit more money at the end of the year. That 1% also starts earning returns, and those returns earn returns year after year. It creates a virtuous cycle that can significantly accelerate your path to financial freedom. The same power that steals a decade can also give it back. So, what should you be looking for? What are the practical steps to reclaim that lost decade? First, scrutinize every fee associated with your investments. Demand to know the expense ratio of every fund you own. If it's over 0.5% for an index fund, you're likely paying too much. For actively managed funds, anything above 1% should raise a serious red flag. Don't just accept what your bank or advisor tells you. Dig for the true cost. Second, understand your investment returns in real terms, meaning after inflation. Your nominal return might look good, but if inflation is 3% and your return is 4%, your real growth is only 1%. Compare your savings account rates to the current inflation rate. If your cash isn't growing at least as fast as inflation, it's depreciating. Third, be critical of advice that seems to prioritize complex, high-fee products. Often, simpler, lower-cost solutions like broad market index funds or ETFs outperform their expensive counterparts over the long run, precisely because they don't suffer from that destructive 1% drain. Precisely because they don't suffer from that destructive 1% drain. A destructive 1% drain não é apenas uma taxa de administração fria, número isolado no extrato. É uma filosofia, uma engenharia financeira astutamente desenhada para que você pague pelo seu desconhecimento. Pense nisso como uma sangria invisível, constante, que não provoca dor imediata, mas te exaure silenciosamente ao longo do tempo. As grandes instituições financeiras contam com a premissa de que a maioria das pessoas não vai ler a letra miúda dos contratos, nem questionar o que parece ser um serviço padrão. É exatamente nesse terreno fértil da sua complacência que essa década preciosa da sua aposentadoria se esvai, ano após ano. Você já parou para questionar as taxas de performance que aparecem apenas em cenários de alta? As comissões de corretagem que parecem zeradas, mas são embutidas sutilmente nos spreads? Ou as taxas de custódia que reaparecem em fundos mais sofisticados? Cada uma, isoladamente, pode parecer uma miséria. 0,5% aqui, 0,25% ali, mas é a soma delas, a sobreposição quase imperceptível, a teia invisível de cobranças que se entrelaça sorrateiramente em torno do seu patrimônio, sufocando-o. É como ter vários vazamentos lentos em todas as tubulações da sua casa. Você só percebe a extensão do estrago quando a conta de água explode ou quando o assoalho já está apodrecido, irreversivelmente danificado. E o conselheiro financeiro que, com um sorriso, te empurra para produtos que prometem retornos fantásticos, mas vem com uma montanha de taxas embutidas? Ele não faz isso por pura maldade na maioria dos casos, mas porque a própria estrutura de incentivos do setor o recompensa generosamente por vender exatamente esses produtos. Para cada real que o seu dinheiro suado rende, uma fração generosa está sendo secretamente redirecionada para alimentar essa vasta máquina, antes mesmo que você vislumbre um único centavo.
O problema não é só o dinheiro que você perdeu. É principalmente o dinheiro que seu dinheiro deixou de ganhar. Os juros sobre juros, a mágica do tempo, que evaporaram antes mesmo de nascerem, drenados por essa pequena, mas letal diferença de 1%. Pense que você está competindo numa maratona da vida, a corrida pela sua independência financeira. Todos os seus competidores calçam tênis leves, projetados para a máxima performance. Você, sem o menor conhecimento, está correndo com um tênis com pesos extras escondidos nas solas, pesando 1% a mais. Você vai cobrir a mesma distância, com o mesmo esforço, mas inevitavelmente chegará uma década depois. A frustração profunda, o arrependimento esmagador de olhar para trás e ver o caminho que poderia ter percorrido. Esse 1% é a diferença real entre viajar o mundo livremente aos 60 ou ainda estar preso a um emprego que você já não suporta aos 70. É a diferença entre deixar um legado financeiro substancial para seus filhos ou apenas o suficiente para sobreviver. Então, como você se liberta dessa armadilha silenciosa que eles construíram com tanta maestria? Não basta apenas passar os olhos nas tabelas de taxas. Você precisa, urgentemente, adotar uma mentalidade de dono absoluto do seu dinheiro, não um mero depositário passivo. Questione implacavelmente, compare ofertas, exija transparência cristalina. Se uma instituição não consegue explicar cada mísera linha de custo de forma simples, clara e compreensível, sem rodeios ou jargões técnicos, isso é um sinal de alerta gigante que pisca em vermelho. Não aceite jamais o "é assim que funciona" como uma resposta válida. Há sempre uma alternativa mais barata, mais eficiente e incrivelmente mais transparente. Essa diferença de 1% não é um erro acidental, é um design deliberado. Um design que você, e somente você, tem o poder e a responsabilidade de desmantelar ativamente na sua própria jornada financeira. This isn't about blaming you for not knowing. The system isn't designed to empower you with this knowledge. It's designed to profit from your ignorance. But once you understand the profound impact of this seemingly small 1% difference, you gain an incredible power, the power to take control. You begin to see through the marketing, the jargon, and the subtle manipulations. You realize that protecting your money from these invisible drains is just as important as earning it. The biggest secret they don't want you to know isn't a complex trading strategy or an exotic investment. It's the simple, brutal arithmetic of compounding and how a tiny percentage, quietly subtracted over time, can cost you a decade of your life. A decade of freedom, of choice, of time spent with loved ones, or pursuing passions instead of punching a clock. That 1% difference isn't just financial, it's a difference in quality of life, in the very fabric of your future. Now that you know, what will you do about it?